How's it going? I'm Josh Steen, resident director here at Corinth Theatre-Arts. My very good friend Clay S. Nails, and this is Going Off Book for the week. We have a little secret. Our internet's terrible, so we're having to record this ahead of time until we can get better internet. I guess this is just what we'll do. I mean,
What else can we do?
there's nothing else that we can do. We could have just not told you that's what we were doing. And
you'd have never known.
You'd have never known the truth, and we'll never tell you again. You just have to figure it out on your own. I guess it would be weird if you sent us comments or something like that somehow. Anyway, so this Going Off book for this week, as I promised to you last week, we're going to talk about season 52 here at Corinth Theatre-Arts. It's going to be one of the major things to talk about tonight. But first, before we do that, we're going to dip into the old Critics' Choice Cookbook, the most infamous book in Corinth Theatre-Arts history. For tonight's recipe, has a little tie to what Clay and I are going to read for you. It's a ham omelet supreme. 1 pound cheese, shredded cheddar, or whatever you like. 2 cups of diced cooked ham. Do you like ham in an omelet?
Oh, I love ham.
Oh, yeah? Okay, good. Half cup of butter or margarine. Use butter. 1 dozen eggs. Half cup of all-purpose flour. Salt and pepper to taste. 1 pint small curd of cottage cheese. Nope.
A curd of cottage
That's
cheese.
what it says. 1 small curd. So 1...
Like curds and whey? Is that
I
what it is?
guess, I don't know. 1 teaspoon of baking powder or 5 or 6 drops of red hot sauce.
Does Little Miss Muffet commit that?
I guess, no, actually, this is Miss Joyce Pruitt from Sherrod, Illinois. I'm not putting cottage cheese in anything.
Yeah,
I would just...
cottage cheese is what I would eat if I were stranded on a desert island with no other food except sand.
In cottage cheese,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is what you're supposed to do. Butter a 9 by 12 inch baking dish with a half cup butter. Barely blend the eggs and add to them the half cup flour, salt and pepper, the baking powder, hot sauce, and cottage cheese. Or just leave that out. Add the ham and cheese and mix thoroughly. Spin it in the buttery baking dish and bake at 400 in an oven. Reduce heat to 375 and bake for 10 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes longer, just till set. It's going to be baked at a lower temperature for a long time. It can also be mixed, covered, and refrigerated overnight. Remove from refrigerator 1 hour prior to baking. Delicious for brunch. Serves 12 to 15 people. So what I get from a lot of these recipes that we've had in this is there's a lot of like advanced prep that people usually would do.
And that actually sounds like a quiche recipe.
Yeah, this doesn't sound like an omelet.
If it were poured into a crust.
Or something else.
Yeah, I think you could pour that into a crust and bake it and wind up with probably a pretty good quiche because cottage cheese would give it a little fluffy.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't call this an omelet.
No, I wouldn't.
I would call it a ham egg
I think an
supreme.
omelet being cooked in a skillet where you
Yes.
cook your egg, you put your ingredients there, flip the other side of the egg over, and then cook it on both sides.
I really like omelets.
Oh, I love omelets.
Omelets are one of my favorite things. There is that's the recipe for the week. There is this restaurant in Heber Springs where we go in Arkansas, and they do a barbecue pork, like they do a garden omelet, and I get them to add barbecue pork to it, and it is divine.
Well, I bet it is,
Divine. It is the way to go. A ham omelet supreme, courtesy of the Critics' Choice Cookbook. All right, before we talk about season 52, I don't have anything for you tonight. Now what we'll do is we'll show you kind of the state of things. Here in the Playhouse, we're in the midst of transitioning our last set, as well as getting ready to put our set up for Frozen, and some of those dates I want to tell you about. So we here have been following along with Governor Reeves' orders of how things are going to work here in the future in the state of Mississippi, and we're taking that into consideration as we plan ahead for the remainder of season 51. Now, to be honest, if things had gone according to plan, we would almost be finished with the entire season, but that's not the way that it's going. So as we mentioned last week, Frozen Junior and Chicago are what we have chosen to finish the season out with. And we're looking at some tentative dates to do that with. As the board and I have had some conversations about Frozen, and we were originally going to perform that at the historic Coliseum in downtown Corinth. We're just not going to do that at this time because I said this to some students the other day. I feel much better about controlling the environment here for our patrons if it's our building. So just know whatever final dates we decide on, more than likely for Frozen, we'll only sell 100 seats in our house. So we'll probably sell every other seat or every other row, depending on families. And we'll really try to, put folks together and minimize the interactions that we can get as much as we can get people apart. Um, we had our first in-person rehearsal of 9 students the other day. They sat 3 seats apart on multiple rows. We sanitized before, we sanitized after. Some wore face masks. This is interesting, this world that we're going to live in. But it's, we have to move forward with what we do, and we'll do it as best we can in this world. So just look, we'll have a big update about the condition of things when we settle on dates for Frozen and what you can expect when you come into the Playhouse, whether or not we're checking your temperature or hand sanitizing stations or what we're going to do. But that's definitely one of the things that we'll update you about as well as the show dates. Right now, we're currently looking for Frozen to be June 19th, 20th. On the 20th, we'll do 2 shows, and the 21st. And then June 25th, 26th, 27th. On the 27th, we'll do 2 shows. And on the 28th, we'll probably do 2 shows that day as well, to give as many people the amount of time we can see it, to make sure the building is as clean as we can get it in the areas that you patrons will be in, as well as the volunteers. So that's a thing that you can know. Chicago, we're going to look to do Chicago hopefully July 9th through 12th, and then 17th through 19th. So those performance dates will be moved back. And in lieu of a full-on theater camp this summer, we're going to do two separate camps. We're going to do one big camp, and the students have elected to do Little Shop of Horrors. And we're going to look for dates the July 23rd, that's a Thursday, 24th, and 25th. So they'll work on that workshop style throughout the summer. But those will actually be the performance dates of Little Shop of Horrors. So we still have a lot coming up for this season that we're really, really excited to do. Just doing it at a little bit different time. I think we're pretty fortunate, though.
Absolutely were.
We hit at the right time.
Yeah, we did, and we're fortunate always to have a number of all of our volunteers, be they adults or children, especially the children who are so committed to this Frozen. It would have been very easy for them just to have given up interest.
Oh, yeah.
Gone in another direction, but they have not, and have stayed with it. And I really look.
I got to say, I was really nervous the other day when we had our first in-person rehearsal. The way we've been doing our rehearsal process is I can't hear them singing in their home. They can just hear me via YouTube Live. So to actually hear voices in the room that we were in going through the entire show, it was just our principal characters. And I was a little nervous to see how this whole online learning went. And it seems to have gone quite well. I'm really, really, really excited about it. So Frozen's going to be really, really, really good. And if they weren't so talented, we would have probably just called it off. But we were fortunate enough to cast the 60 most talented students in, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama, I think. So we're really excited about that. Okay, so that is the remainder of season 51. One thing that we're going to incorporate next season, as we continue to go, we've told you a lot about Fear the Not Shakespeare. Our Shakespeare group's been meeting on Tuesday nights, going incredibly well. We're already through Act 2 of Hamlet. And I'm really excited about what we're going to have. Like, I really wish we were able to get all of these people here together to do this show on stage. We have people in all these time zones, so that's not a possibility. But really diverse backgrounds, lots of great things. So this very small portion we're going to read for you tonight is from Hamlet. We're going to read Act 1, Scene 5, which is Hamlet and the ghost of Hamlet's father, the former king of Denmark. I'm going to read Hamlet because I'm reading Hamlet in our production, and Clay's going to read the ghost. I also have another role for you too, so just know that. We'll talk about that later. Hamlet, Act 1, Scene 5. Enter the ghost in Hamlet. Where wilt thou lead me? Speak. I'll go no further.
Mark me.
I will.
My hour is almost come, when I till sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak. I'm bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge, thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast and fires, till the foul crimes done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid to tell you the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul, freeze thy young blood, make thy two eyes like stars start from their spheres, thy knotted and combined locks to part, and each particular hair to stand on end, like quills upon the fretful porpentine. This eternal blazon must not be to ears of flesh and blood. List, oh list, if thou didst ever thy dear father love,
Oh, God.
revenge his foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder.
Murder most foul, as in the beast it is, this most foul, strange, and unnatural.
Haste me to know it, that I with wings as swift as meditation or thoughts of love may sweep to my revenge.
I find thee apt, and duller shouldst thou be than the fat weed that roots itself in ease on leaf wharf. Wouldst thou not stir in this? Now, Hamlet, here is given out that, sleeping in my orchard, a serpent stunned me. So the whole ear of Denmark is by a forged process of my death rankly abused. But know, thou noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown.
Prophetic soul, my uncle.
Aye, that incestuous, that adulterous beast, with witchcraft of his wit, with traitorous gifts, O wicked witted gifts, that have the power so to seduce one to his shameful lust, the will of my most seeming virtuous queen. Oh, Hamlet, what a falling off was there from me, whose love was that of dignity that it went hand in hand even with the vow I made to her in marriage, and to decline upon a wretch whose natural gifts were poor to those of mine. But virtue, as it never will be moved through lewdness court in a shape of heaven, so lust, though to a radiant angel linked, will sate itself in a celestial bed and prey on garbage. But soft, methinks I scent the morning air. Brief let me be. Sleeping within my orchard, my custom always of the afternoon, upon my secure hour thy uncle stole, with juice of cursed Hebenon in a vial, and in the porches of my ears did pour the leprous distilment, whose effect holds such an enmity with blood of man, that swift as quicksilver it courses through the natural gates and alleys of the body, and with a sudden vigorous stuff tossed and curd, like eager droppings in the milk, the thin and wholesome blood, so did it mine, and a most instant teeter barked about, most laser-like, with vile and loathsome crust all my smooth body. Thus was I, sleeping by a brother's hand of life, of crown, of queen, at once dispatched, cut off even in the blossoms of my sin, unhouseled, disappointed, unannaled, no reckoning made, but sent to my account with all my imperfections on my head. Oh, horrible! Oh, horrible! Most horrible! If thou hast nature in thee, bear it not. Let not the royal bed of Denmark be a couch for luxury and damned incest. But howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Leave her to heaven. Those thorns that in her bosom lodge prick and sting her. Fare thee well at once. The glowworm shows the matin to be near, and gins to pale his ineffectual fire. Adieu, adieu, Hamlet. Remember me.
Oh, all you host of heaven. Oh, earth. What else? And shall I couple hell? Fie. Hold my heart in you. My sinews grow not instant old, but bear me stiffly up. Remember thee. Ay, poor ghost, whilst memory holds a seat in thy distracted globe. Remember thee. Yea, from the table of my memory I'll wipe away all trivial fond records, all saws of books, all forms, all pressures past that youth and observation copied there. In thy commandment all alone shall live within the book and volume of my brain, unmixed with baser matter. Yes, by heaven. O most pernicious woman, O villain, villain, smiling, damned villain. My table's at meet as I set it down, that one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now to my word, it is adieu, adieu. Remember me. I've sworn. I really like Hamlet. Hamlet outside of Lear, it's probably my favorite Shakespeare. I love that. I love the story that he tells and how he tells that story, as tragic as it is. It's beautiful, beautifully written. And to think that it was told when it was told is very incredible. So really hope that when we get our two productions of Hamlet up and going, you'll watch those and share those, and hopefully we'll get a little production value in those as well. We talked a little bit about that this week, so really looking forward for all of you to see our Fear Thee Not Shakespeare's Hamlet. Not sure what we'll do next year. Next year we'll cover both semesters of the fall and the spring to do whatever it is that we do. And more than likely we'll do it on stage. And I'd really like to try to incorporate some video elements. I actually have been trying to consider how we could do use the elements of the people who are not with us here, like Dr. Strickland, who is in Georgia, and Logan, who is in Connecticut. Like, Logan plays Horatio. Hamlet could have like a video chat with Horatio if we, use modern technology. And I thought of how we could do Claudius that Andrew plays. It's really interesting.
Did you ever see the Mel Gibson version of Hamlet?
Yes. Oh my God.
Isn't that good?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yes. It actually it's very, very good. It's I don't want to say it's hard to mess it up, because we probably will. But
and everybody sounds smart reading Shakespeare.
That's so true.
I sound smart reading.
It's like yeah, we
what
know.
Your IQ is. You sound like a genius.
Yeah. Just well, and the same can be said for Arthur Miller, Tennessee Williams. Even Neil Simon. His comedic timing is incredible. So I think it's all about the playwright, which takes us into our look really quickly at season 52 coming up here at Corinth Theatre-Arts. So what we're going to do is, we did a season announcement video that was a couple months ago, but I want to give you kind of an update, and just to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page, and to tell you a little bit about it. So we already have all of our graphics done for next season. I really like that, and we're ready to go. We're ready to start selling some tickets.
Assuming we don't all die.
Yeah, from COVID-19.
Which event there won't be a season 52.
There won't be a season anything of anybody. So we're looking at before we feel firm on dates. We're looking at some things, but we want to make sure you understand what it is we're doing next season. Season 51, I think, is, even with the interruption, has been one of our best here at CTA. So season 50.
Rocky, I didn't mean to interrupt. Rocky Horror was worth the entire season. That not only was that fun, that may be the best. That's one of the best things that I've ever seen. Certainly one of the best things I've ever been a part of.
Right.
But that was really a phenomenal show.
Yeah.
Just all the way around.
Even the spectacle of it, right?
It was just grand. It was full of grand.
And even if we had to end our season with Still Magnolias, I'd have been comfortable with that. They knocked it out of the park. I hate we're not doing Tennessee Williams. I'd still like to do some of our one acts online. I'm still trying to figure that out. But if that had been the case, I'd have been happy with that. All right, so season 52, we're calling Trials and Tribulations. And because there is that theme throughout every play that we've selected for next season, be it straight play or musical, again, we're doing our second curtain series, which I really enjoy, and it got us Rocky Horror this season. So our season 52 looks to be the absolute best. So starting us off for season 52 is the Neil Simon classic Barefoot in the Park. If you don't know anything about that, when newlyweds Paul and Corey Bratter play matchmaker with their new upstairs neighbor, Corey's mother, who drops in after the 6 days honeymoon, everything and anything can and will go wrong. As Paul is perceived to be too boring, all Corey wants is a little spontaneity. Perhaps running barefoot in the park will do the tricks. That's, I think, an incredible way to start season 52. We've done Barefoot in the Park several times here. Katie Simons directed it last time
That's right.
we did it.
When do you anticipate that going up? It's
Um,
hard to say, I know, but when would you anticipate that?
September, really.
It's been a long time since I've been in a comedy.
Well, there's plenty for you to do next season. Don't you worry. Actually, there's a really good role for you in that. There's the thing that I like about Barefoot in the Park is there's a really great role for actors and volunteers of all age and skill level. Um, saw a really great production of this over in Florence, the Shoals Community Theater, several years ago. Our good friend and volunteer from the past, Jared Wallen, played a great role in that. So I love Barefoot in the Park.
And Neil Simon's the lifeblood of community theaters. I mean,
Yes.
he just
Yes.
rumors or
Well, I mean, Odd Couple, Lost in Yonkers. One of my favorite Neil Simon productions is Fools. We'll get around to doing that one at one
we
point.
have plenty of those.
Yeah, we do. We'll just hire some and bring them in. Up next is the 2015 Tony Award for Best Play, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. Now, this is a great new modern drama. We do a lot of old classic drama. This is great modern drama. 15-year-old Christopher has an extraordinary brain. He is exceptional at mathematics, but ill-equipped to interpret everyday life. He has never ventured alone beyond the end of his road. He detests being touched, and he distrusts strangers. Now it is 7 minutes after midnight, and Christopher stands beside his neighbor's dead dog, Wellington, who has been speared with a garden fork. Finding himself under suspicion, Christopher is determined to solve the crime of who murdered Wellington, and he carefully records each fact. This detective work, forbidden by his father, takes him on a thrilling journey that upturns his world. Described as, quote, a beautiful, eloquent, dazzling, inventive show about the wonders of life, this show that features both students and adults is a story you don't want to miss. I'm really excited about this because we're going to partner with Reconnect for Autism for this show.
You're reading my mind. Is the main character supposed to be on the spectrum?
Yes, absolutely, 155%. And we're not casting a 21-year-old to play a 15-year-old. We're going to cast a student in that role. The language is tough, but it's absolutely one of the best things that I've read ever. I'm really excited about that. You may have read the book, New York Times bestselling book, but we're really looking forward to you knowing more about that. So Curious Incident will probably go up at the end of September, early October. All right. We just talked about Rocky Horror in 2019. We gave ourselves over to absolute pleasure, and you made the Rocky Horror Show one of the most successful shows of the decade, if not the most successful show, and that is not an understatement. It is I said that until we did Still Magnolias. Still Magnolias may have been, but it's to have two shows that were so close in number and
they were good. They're entirely different. It's apples and oranges. The comparison,
but quality shows, both shows.
Beyond quality.
So we had so many people ask us. We're going to flick the lights back on over at the Frankenstein Place in season 52. The Rocky Horror Show will return to our stage as the first second curtain series production of season 52. I'm excited about it. Whether or not I play Brad Majors again, I don't really care because it's such a good show. It's such a fun show.
I'm excited about it.
Good. You were excellent as the criminologist. You were amazing as the criminologist. I don't think that we had anyone outcast. It was perfect. It was a perfect show. I'm really excited about that. We're gonna put a little different spin on it. We went a little grungier with Rocky Horror last year. We may go a little poppier with it this year. I don't really know. I have to talk to our riffraff slash drummer about that and see
Yeah,
what we can
our
do.
music guru.
Yeah. Up next, A World of Pure Imagination awaits you for our 52nd season's Link production, Roald Dahl's Willy Wonka Jr. So, Willy Wonka Jr., the story of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, uh, Pure Imagination, the Candyman, all that good stuff. Looking forward to that being our Link production. Um, we uh, we we love our partnership with Link. It's one of the longest running nonprofit partnerships in Alcorn County, period. Um, and it's a partnership that we 100% helped create. Roles will be available for K through 12 students, and Link's mission is so important to me personally. To lead, inspire, and nurture kids, one of our most rewarding productions and partnerships over the last decade. So, Link, looking forward to that. Christmas comes again in 2020, even though the first part wasn't so great. Our Corinthian Christmas classic, A Christmas Carol, returns again for our 52nd season in a brand new way. So, we're going to use Charles Dickens' original performance manuscript, which I think is incredible. Features one actor who will read the classic tale. Minimal set, love it. I think people are going to love this version of A Christmas Carol. Very interestingly enough, when we had a real radio station here in Corinth for 3 or 4 years in a row, I think when Andrew Strickland was our resident director, they did a radio play of A Christmas Carol every year.
Wow.
Yeah, and I would love to be able to do that again. Great, yeah. At some point we may move to do that as a podcast and just offer that as a thing. I love A Christmas Carol. I love that we've chosen that as our Christmas story every year. There's just not a whole lot of great Christmas shows. They're like 4 or 5, and I think A Christmas Carol is the best. I think the message is the best. The acting is always the best. So that's, for me, bar none, the way to go. All right, now Clay and I, we've talked about waiting for Godot. And it wasn't originally supposed to be included in season 52, but we're going to as a second curtain production. I always like to do, and I don't know if I've ever told you this. I don't know if you've ever figured it out on your own, but I always like to test something in some way before I do it. And I've decided, since we did that reading a couple weeks ago, that that's going to be my test. We're gonna look to do a great production of this outside sometime between the end of October and the beginning of February. We'll cast 4 people that are a part of our second curtain auditions. They'll play, or 5 people. They'll play the roles, and it's just going to happen. Like it's going to happen. It's going to happen outside in downtown Corinth. Whether 5 of you or 500 of you show up, I think it's going to be worth doing. I'm really, 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 really excited about that, and that would not have happened without this series. So I'm looking forward to that. Up next, our Southern Classic for our season 52 takes us back to Alabama and into the world of Atticus Finch. To Kill a Mockingbird features a diverse cast. It's timeless in its message of exploring and exposing prejudice and racial inequality, compassion, and the conviction to do what's right makes this a story that speaks just as strongly in our community now as it did when Harper Lee wrote this Pulitzer Prize-winning story. If you think racism has gone away, don't watch it, but the video of that man being murdered 2 months ago in Georgia, and it being on film, is making its rounds now. One of my personal goals for us in the next 5-10 years is to have a whole lot less people who look like Clay and I around here at CTA.
And he doesn't mean just more attractive.
No, because there are, but more people of color, more people of diverse backgrounds than our own, because this is a community theater and our community is changing, and it's our job to open those doors up for you. And I really hope To Kill a Mockingbird is that step in that direction. because we have a huge segment of our community that needs to be seen, and we hope to do that, starting with To Kill a Mockingbird. We're going to close out our second curtain series for season 52 with the 2016 Tony Award-winning production for Best Play, The Humans. This is why I said you're going to be busy next year. Features a cast that ranges from young adult to senior volunteers. This drama with lighter moments tells the story of Eric Blake and his family's first Thanksgiving dinner in Lower Manhattan in his daughter's new apartment. As darkness falls outside, Eric's own darkness comes to light. Thanksgiving dinner evolves into unexpected terror, and The Humans tells the story of trials and tribulations that you will not ever forget, I promise you. It is one of the strongest things I've ever seen.
And tell me if I'm wrong about this. If you were happen to come and see our production of Death of the Salesman last year, which was the strongest thing and most difficult thing I've ever done.
Yep.
It pales in comparison.
Yep. Which is well, I don't know. They're very similar in very, very similar ways. You see where Salesman is going from the top, and because it's a name that you recognize, and you don't see this coming, and I will not ever reveal what happens in that, and you just have to see it. That's going to be strong. And our final and largest production and it may not be our final one. Actually, it may be. Dates are going to be pushed. It's huge, but it's going to be the biggest musical we've done in a long time. The rock opera by Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice. It's been captivating audiences for over 40 years. Jesus Christ Superstar. With huge successes in the recent updating of the show and the recent success of NBC Live's Emmy Award-winning production, featuring John Legend, Sarah Bareilles, Alice Cooper, and a host of others, JC Superstar has been resurrected for audiences in a bold and brand new way, and we couldn't be more happy to do this show. Last season when we talked about what we wanted to do for season 51, we had several options in our board. We really put a lot of thought into it. Like Avenue Q and Rocky Horror. I mean, it was down to the wire. It was literally a toss-up, and we chose Rocky Horror, and I really think we chose correctly. I feel that way about Jesus Christ Superstar. I think it's the right time to do that show. I'm really looking forward to it, and I think that you are really going to enjoy it. That's going to feature a lot of folks from a diverse background. And as I mentioned with Waiting for Godot, I think we're going to try to do it outside. If you want my God's honest truth, my real ultimate goal, one of my ultimate goals as a director, is to go to a large city somewhere and lease a mega church for 3 or 4 months to prepare and do a production of Jesus Christ Superstar like it was a Sunday morning church service. But we're not doing that. We're going to try to do it outside. We're going to use live musicians. I strongly encourage you to watch NBC Live's production of it and to go back and listen to the original music and the original Broadway production. Incredibly good stuff. I'm excited about that. Season 52 really does look to be the best so far, and that's our goal, is to keep doing better and better things, and to offer you more to volunteer for, more to come see, more to support. We think that the more diverse things that we can do for you, the better we all are.
And we can't have too many volunteers.
No.
We say that time and again. So anybody who sees this, if you want to come down to do anything, to audition for a role, to help with set construction, to paint, to sweep, to mop, to hand out playbills, whatever, you're welcome here, and you'll be immediately received as part of the theater family.
Yeah, and we are a family. Speaking of which, we're adding to our theater family. Our 2 good volunteers found out this week, and they notified all of us this week that they're pregnant, got a new theater baby coming along. That baby will make the world infinitely cooler.
And that child will be child of
Dave Frost and Katie.
Dave Frost, you'll be watching this, and I feel cooler just knowing that there's another Frost.
Yes, coming to this world.
That made me happy just knowing that the world will be that much more cooler with you and 2 offspring.
Yeah, it'd be great. So congrats, you guys. And theater really is family. I owe my family to this theater, and there have been people here that I feel fortunate enough to have this as my professional home and have been my volunteer home for so long because of the family that's created. Even those that aren't with us anymore, they're gone off and have left us, like our good friend Logan, and some who have gone on to their own rewards. So you're always welcome here. And I think that's one of the things I loved about Rocky Horror. So many new faces in Rocky Horror. It was
Who
wonderful.
immediately became
Yeah,
family.
immediately became family. So lots of great opportunities to volunteer, lots of great opportunities to come see shows and support what we do. All right, so that'll about do it for this installment of Going Off Book. Lots of ways you can help. You can promote our show on Facebook. You can ask your friends to watch the show. You can donate. Visit us at wheretheatercomesalive.com and donate to us there, or just show up the next time that we have an opportunity. We'll have more opportunities for you to know about soon. And when we know, you'll know. And that's coming up hopefully in just the next couple of weeks. Until we see you in person, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you soon where theater comes alive.
Have a nice weekend.